Okay, so now we have the law of sines and we're ready to solve an example. They tell us to solve this triangle and they give us two angles and a side. They give us three pieces of information and we need to give them three pieces of information back. So we're missing the angle C and then we're missing sides B and C. And when we get those three things, then we'll have this triangle solved. You want to start by drawing a triangle. Now it only has to be roughly to scale. You don't want to draw it way off, but you don't have to be extremely precise with it either. So I'm going to draw a triangle like this. Notice I've got a small angle here, 32 degrees, another angle that's almost right, 81.8 degrees. So this isn't exactly a right triangle, but it's not too far off either. And then the most important thing, more important than how you draw it, is how you label it. So if I label this triangle angle A here, angle B here, and angle C, then the side opposite angle B needs to be B, the side opposite angle C needs to be C, and the side opposite angle A needs to be A. Now let's write our given information in here so we don't forget. 32.0 degrees, 81.8 degrees, and side A we know is 42.9. centimeters. Now we're ready to find the great unknowns. Probably the easiest thing to do is to find angle C. Now on the final, you will be asked to label on the triangle, so make sure that you do that. You need to go over here and show your work, but you need to label on the triangle if that's what it says to do, and usually those are your instructions. The nicer you are to your grader, the nicer she'll be to you, probably. So I have three angles of a triangle, and we know that the sum of those three angles in any triangle is going to be 180 degrees. If two of the angles are given, then I just need to subtract those from the 180 to find the third angle. So if you do that, use your calculator, and you'll get 66.2 degrees right here. Now that needs to be exactly 180 every time, regardless of any rounding that you do or anything else. That should be exactly 180 for the sum. One of the most valuable pieces of information I can give you is to use the given information as much as possible. It will help you avoid rounding errors, and the rounding errors are going to multiply very quickly in these. And if you're one digit off, then it's going to be counted wrong. So make sure you don't round until the final answer, and whenever possible, use given information to solve your triangle. So I don't want to use the 66.2 unless absolutely necessary. The only things missing now are side B and side C. So pick one of those. I'm going to use side B. And here's another tip for you. If you put the unknown in the numerator, and especially in the numerator of the left side of your proportion, then it's much easier to solve. So I'm going to put B is to, remember it's sine of the same letter, so sine 81.8 degrees is equal to, and then I need two pieces of information that are given. And since I have side to sine angle, I need side 42.9 for side A. I did that again. Is to sine of angle A. And angle A is given as 32.0 degrees. Important here that your calculator is in degree mode, since that's what your angles are in, and you are using a trig function. You're not using the angle by itself. So the mode is going to matter. Now when you solve this proportion, you just want to multiply this way and then divide by this number right here. Here's what that looks like in your calculator. You're going to add a calculator page. You're going to scroll over this and make sure that your angle is in degrees. Mine's not, it's in radians, so I'm going to change it to degrees. Now when I scroll over, it says angle degrees. And then you're going to enter your information. Grab your fraction template on the control divide key. And here's your answer. 80.1 if we round to the nearest tenth. 80.1 centimeters. So we go back to our triangle over here, and remember that that was side B. B is equal to 80 66.1 centimeters. Now this is a rounded answer. If I ignore the caution and I use this rounded answer to find another side somehow, then there's a huge possibility that I'm going to have a rounding error. Okay, so it doesn't matter that it's close. It doesn't matter that she can see that you knew how to set it up. It's going to matter that you used a rounded answer and you've been instructed not to do that. So make sure that you don't round into the last step. Writing this answer was the last step for this part. But if I use this, then I have to use the non-rounded value from my calculator. Now let's find side C. And in order to do that, I'm going to go back to my given information. I'm putting the unknown on the top left. I'm looking for side C. So I'm going to say that is to sine C. Now that 66.2 is not rounded because these total exactly 180 degrees, and I can use it just like that. Then I'm going to have 42.9, which is my given A, is to sine of my angle A, which is 32.0. Now you notice that this fraction here is the same as that fraction there, which is going to save me time when I go back to my calculator, because then I just have to change the sine 81.8 to sine 66.2, and I can do that by editing the line above. So I'm going to go up there and grab that, and then I'm going to go over here and edit, and I just want sine instead of 81.8. I want sine 32. No, that's not right. I want sine 66.2, sorry. And I get C as 74.1 if I round to the nearest tenth. 74.1 centimeters. Let's label that over here on our drawing. And we've solved the triangle.